can give out the access permission. Okay. For the individual user or the the group of users. Any question on this function here? Okay. And we just went through how we control and limit the access. But giving them access to the certain servers doesn't mean they can do whatever they want in the target devices or systems. We also provide command control function to restrict the person's behavior in the servers and target devices. So there are 4 classifications. Okay, here. 4 classification: permitted and important and prohibited and exceptions. So permitted commands are automatically accepted. Like here, when you type the command, it'll automatically and immediately accept it and then execute the commands. But the important commands can be executed after the confirmation message to make sure it's not an accidental execution. So if you type the important commands, then they give you the pop-up message saying, is this the right command? And you still want to execute. And then if you type yes or enter, then it'll execute the command. And prohibited commands are not allowed under any circumstances. So once they type this dangerous command, HIWARE gives the user a warning message, like warning pop-up, like the message on this on the command line. And if the user keep typing it number of times more, then the user will be blocked until the further action from the admin. And lastly, the exceptions. There might be some cases that the user have to type that dangerous command for the specific or the special or any like upgrade or updates the task or the project. So it can be executed by having the approval on your request from the admin. The request, you have to include the period when you'll be using and device information of which device you'll be working on and the list of commands that which dangerous command that you'll be typing in during the period. So so after the approval from the admin, then the user or you could use it in the certain period of time. Okay, this is a short demo. Sorry. Okay. So the RM commands is the prohibited commands on this case. So once the user typed the RM command, it'll give you the message saying the input you typed the dangerous command, and then the session will be blocked if prohibited command is entered 2 more times. So in this case, we set for the 3 times as a limitation of the command control. That's why you could only enter 3 times of dangerous commands. But if you set up for 5 or 10, and it'll give you like 5 or 10 more chances to type the prohibited commands. And once it types more, like 2 more times, then it will block the session. And then, so it will block the session and the user is no longer access to that server until the admin will release or unblock this user. Okay. All right. I have a question here on what kind of log or evidence if there is any illegal activities. So I'll show you that on the so the HIWARE records all the session from the beginning of the session until the end of the session. So we'll record the whole video of it, and then each command that you typed will be listed as a evidence, and the dangerous command will have a separate list that's saying you typed the dangerous command, and then that's why it was blocked. So you'll have the detail activity, the logs in HIWARE. The first one is a video log. Second one is the list of the commands that you typed during the session. And third one is the dangerous commands that you typed, the list of the dangerous commands. All right, the other question on here is that what information is recorded during the, I already told you that the full video and then the commands that you typed, okay? And how we can see the videos. I'll show you that in later on the demo, because right now I only have a short demo. So if you can see, if you see the screen here on the HIWARE, and under the access history, and then you can go to the access permission set up, access history. There's a list that you can see of the session that you accessed. And then you click the session that you wanted to view, and then you can play the video, and then you can see the list of the comments, and then you can see the details, who accessed to which device with from IP, and then the target IP, and then the HIWARE user and the period. Okay. 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 Then Nigel will be answered the last question, so I'll continue. This is a real-time session monitoring control. So like I said, all the activities will be recorded as a video from the time you start the session and the end of the session. So while we're recording, the admin can view this session in real time through this real-time monitoring session. So this can be used as a supervising the user's mistake, or it can also provide as a collaboration with the user, because like once the user is doing something on the server one, and then admin cannot be joined on the physically join the engineer, then admin can just set on the office and then turn on the real-time monitoring session and then see what user is doing in real time, and then you can call them or text them or send a messenger to, you know, what engineer should do, and then it could be the collaboration, or you can just click block if the user is doing something irrational or something abnormal. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's go through the short video. So this is a real-time monitoring session, and this is the real session here. So if the user types something, just enter or type something, you can see on the right side on the real-time monitoring session in real time. Okay. Okay. Okay, so the session be terminated automatically when policy violation occurs. Yeah, not automatically. It depends on like how many times that you put the trials. So if the user typed the dangerous commands, But if you set for just one-time trial, then it will block the session automatically, immediately, because it's just giving a one-time chance. But if you set 3 times the trial of the violation, then they let you do the violation for 3 times, and then after that will violate. But during the real-time monitoring session, there is a click button for the block, as you can see on the screen here. OK and block. There's only 2 buttons. So if you click block, and then you have to, it'll give you the pop-up message why you're blocking this session, and then you type the reason and then hit block. Then it will block the session and then kick out this user from this target server. And then until you release or unblocked this user, the user cannot be accessed to the server. Okay. Okay. Okay, here, like I mentioned earlier, all the record of the functions usage will be stored in HIWARE, and it could be export in the various format like HTML or Excel or CSV format, and this is the current format, so you don't have to worry about this. So there's a various format that you can export this the log, such as like you can explore such as like access history, violation history, and usage of commands, and then access history. This task history lives from the time the user accessed the target device, and this helps the user for their audit reports because we're recording the whole session. So anyone has a question on this? Okay, if you don't have any, let me continue. Now it's for the IAMs for system. Now we're talking about the identity management for system. We also call the account management for system. So previously it was about the access. Now we're talking about the account management function. So this provides a centralized and integrated management of all heterogeneous devices, which means all different kinds of devices. Okay. So we gather all the accounts in HIWARE, and then we distribute and by devices. Like it will be the list of the devices, and then you click the device, and then you will link up with the accounts that inside that device. And it manages account lifecycle and the password management. And according to the standardized security policy, which will be set by admin. And it also provides an unauthorized user detection and prevent them access to the device and provide approval function to manage the test automation. So let's get more details on each functions. Okay.
마이크가 열려 있었나 보네요.
All right. In it, so life cycle policy management. So we gather all different kinds of accounts from Windows, Unix, Linux into HIWARE, and then we manage and we distribute them by devices. And the life cycle means creation, changing or modification, and termination or deletion. So will be the full cycle here, like from the creating to the delete or reclamation. So this will be this test of the life cycle will be could be done in HIWARE. So I don't know about the other PAM solution, but the majority of the global PAM solution provides the lifecycle management policy function. So you can create and change information such as like password or the group UI group, and then you can delete or reclaim um, from the server without going to the server. So how it works is if we collect all the accounts from the servers or target devices, and then if you make changes, and then we'll do the provisioning with the server through the scripts. So you don't have to go into server or DBs or any target devices just for creating accounts or change information or delete. So you can do everything through HIWARE. And by setting up the password policy, we also can automate the password management. By having this password management function, is efficiency in um, password management improves, such as like auto change, manual change, and bulk change. So you might have question on the what is bulk change is. Um, the bulk change function could change the password of 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 of accounts just by one task. You just have to click all the accounts that you want to change a password. Doesn't care about which device, and then once you edit on the task, it will change the password automatically for you. So you don't have to worry about changing password of more than 10,000 of accounts password. And it provides setting the password complexity, and then the random change of password, and temporary password for the third party. And additionally, we also provide a password management reports, so we can view who changed the password of the accounts. And the page also password change history can view the information who changed the password, and lastly, only the super admin can view the history of passwords. Like the password has been changed from A to B, then only the super admin can see the actual password. But the super admin also have to go through the multi-factor authentication to see the actual the password. Okay, I have a question on create new user first or target server, or can use existing user. So you have to add the target server first, and then once you collect the accounts from that server, then will be the new user accounts from that server will be collected from the server to HIWARE. Because of 20 or 50 server perhaps fine, but about 1,000. So we have the bulk or batch device edition. So you can add the multiple devices through the batch. So you don't have to worry about adding the target servers. Does that answer your question? Okay. Okay, this is a short video of that function here. So you want to change a password, and then you select the accounts that you want to change the passwords here, and then you just edit, and then just click, oh, sorry, here, and you want to change it, and then the test is already added here. So 6 users accounts will be changed the password. The why there is 12 tasks here, because one for changing password and then the other is for changing password use period, because the password changing period will be differ by each server or by each user. So they need to update the password change the period. So it will generate another period of changing password. Okay. And this is the policy management sorry, integrated account policy management. This accounts of different equipment or target device can be grouped and managed by HIWARE. And each group's security policy can be set and applied individually or integrally. So as you can see on the diagram, you can set different
Partial
security
finds
policy
basic
by its
flaws like
account
directory
type
traversal,
or by
forced
group.
browsing.
So the
Burp
root
Suite
from
also
device
has a
1 and
plugin to
then
check for this
admin from device
vulnerability.
2
However,
is
in
considered
automated
as an
scan
admin
mode, it
account,
will only
and
perform
then
a
it was
partial
grouped under
finds
account
basic
types,
flaws
admin
like
account.
directory traversal,
And the admin
forced
account
browsing.
has a
For more
policy
accurate detection, we can use the
of
Burp Suite
here.
plugin in manual mode.
But on the other hand, the user 1 and the guest and user 1 from device 3 is gathered into the personal account. And it has a different policy is set under here. So you can set different policy depends on the account type, and you can group any user into this account type. And here there are several types of accounts can be categorized by its account status. So as you can see here, so if the HIWARE can also connect with the HR server or HR systems. So retired or resigned employees will be categorized as retired, which is on top. And if someone or some accounts or user are in a dormant status, the dormant status means is inactive. It's not it's existing, but it's not active for, like, for example, for a week or 10 days or 30 days in a certain period of time. So it can be categorized as inactive, which is set in the middle here. And illegal accounts can have two categories, which is ghost and broken accounts. So like I said, all the account life cycle, like creation, changing, and deletion, that has to be done through the HIWARE. So direct access from the to the target device is impossible. So we do not accept direct access or physical access to the target devices. So there's no way they can directly create or delete accounts from the server. So if account was created in the server directly but not existed in HIWARE, it is categorized as ghost accounts. On the other hand, if the existing accounts deleted in the server directly, but not deleted from the HIWARE is a broken account, which means it's impossible to every deletion or addition has to be done through HIWARE, but like from the ghost accounts or broken account, which was done by direct access. So we can detect the unauthorized accounts detection and unauthorized access, right? For when all these cases occurred, so HIWARE changes its status of accounts to like retired or inactive or illegal and notifies to the admin to alert them to check the server or check the access if there's any unauthorized access or unauthorized detection. Okay. Okay, and now the approval system. So HIWARE has the approval system embedded in our solution. So we have the several request form, such as like prohibited commands, like adding prohibited commands or unlock user accounts or adding accounts, the user accounts. So once you request, fill out the request format and then send it to the admin through HIWARE approval system. And then if the admin approves it, and HIWARE will reflect the approval into the auto provisioning and set the policy depends on the request. Okay. And now it's the specific function only for the DB. The reason why I didn't go all the functions for DB because for system and DB they have the same mechanism and literally identical function, but the only difference is the target devices. Is it system or is it DB? Okay. So I will not go over all the details of the common functions, and the following functions is only applied for the DBs. Okay. So DB access authority control, which is same concept, but you go through the HIWARE. You access the HIWARE through the basic and then multi-factor authentication. But there's only another difference is you have to use the DB tool to access the DB. So it could be Oracle, DBeaver, or MySQL Workbench, or any tool, any DB tool that you are familiar with, you can use it. It doesn't have to be DBeaver or Oracle database or the MySQL, the Workbench. You can use any DB tool that you're used to it. Okay. And developer group access to same HIWARE, but they can only see the or access to the DBs that are only authorized to the developer group. It's the same concept. Oh, here is the query control. So for the system we control the commands, but here for the DB we control the query. So permitted query and executed immediately, but the prohibited query it will not execute, and then it blocked the session after n times of the attempts. Okay, but there's two types of query control. So there's a type or the phrase. So type is the query that you can select the query and then it will apply there. But if you want to type the whole phrase of the query, you can also register the query, a dangerous query under the phrase control. Then you will prohibit the query phrase, the whole phrase, and it will work the same mechanism, same way. And there's exceptions. So going through the request, approval request. So when and then which DB and then which query that you'll be typing in, and then you get the approval from the admin, and then you can type the query in a certain period of time. And then after that period, then you'll be back to the normal that you cannot type those dangerous commands. And DB have the query control and the access permission, but this is we call the size limitation and the execution time control. So as you can see down here, so once you type the query, execute the SQL to the DB, and then the return query result comes from the DB to HIWARE and then pass it to the user. So while in the middle here, if we apply the policy for the max inquiry time for 15 seconds, so when you type the query and it executes the SQL, and it will take time to read the data. So if that goes over 15 seconds, then it will not return the data and block the session. And then the second policy that here is the volume of data we set for 500 KB. So when you execute the SQL and then once it finds the data and it goes, it finds the size of the data is over 500 KB, then it will not return the data and it blocks the session. And then the max inquiry row for 10 rows. So once you get the data, result data from the DB, you'll get the rows and the columns, right? And then if you set for 10 rows, then the data from the DB goes over 10 rows, then it will not return the data from the DB. Okay, so anything that violates these policy will notify to the admin and block the session. And then the number of trial you can control to 1 to 99. Okay, any question on this function here? Okay, if you don't have any, all right, let me continue. And this is a function that masking the sensitive information from the DB, that the sensitive data will not be shown in the unauthorized users. And if you also print out or download it, it stills data mask the data. So you could customize the masking pattern and masking format for the different types of information. For example, the Korean mobile format is 010 and 4 numbers and 4 numbers. So you have to use the regular expression to customize your masking pattern. Then it will only show the first 3, which is so everyone has a 010 on their phone number. So it only shows 010 and then data mask the rest 8 numbers here, and the social security numbers and the credit card numbers. It depends on how you customize. Okay. So this is the actual data here, but going through the data masking function, it could be masked like whole data here, or you can only match the last 7 digits. Depends on how you set up your data masking pattern. And this is mostly used in the government or finance or like financial, like banking, where they have a massive amount of the sensitive information, like personal information kind of. Okay. Okay, this is our new access management solution. So we call that PSM for application, or we call it AAM, application access management. Okay. So this is a HIWARE 6 before we add AAM. So it's not only this, we have some of the cloud, some of the web application here, but here with the AAM solution, so we can fully cover the cloud, CS application, and web application, which means we expanded our support, include not only existing system, DB, network, or some of the clouds that we expanded to cloud as CS and the web application. So, all right. Okay. So this is the architecture of PSM for application, or we also call AAM. For the HIWARE 6 only, we only need this one server for HIWARE. But to run the application safely, we need this bastion server. So other vendors call the jump server, right? The good thing is for system and DB, even though we using for the system and DB, other vendors need this bastion server or jump server, but HIWARE can generate the system and DB access and identity management with only this HIWARE server. And if you need the application access management, then you need this jump server for the application access management. The reason why we need this is the bastion server acts as an intermediary that runs the application on it. So like a sandbox. So we run the application here to make sure it's safe, and then we generate and then we share that to the user through the HIWARE. Okay. And here are the main features of the application access management. Here's the top 4 features that color with purple. Application auto login and URL and the process control and password change using API and jump server hardening. So this is the 4 main features that's provide only for this solution. And then these 4 is the functions that we already provide for the other solutions as well. So this red highlighted function, the reason why I highlighted this is this function is only provided by HIWARE NetAND. So other vendors like CyberArk or Manage Engine or Delinea, they cannot provide this function yet. So I'm trying to emphasize this, that the URL and the process control feature are the only feature that HIWARE can provide for now. Okay. And this is how we generate, or how this URL and then the process control is working. This is a method how we generate that function. Okay. This is a direct comparison between our AAM solution with the vendor C. We generate the same application, and then we use up only 191 megabytes, while the vendor C was using up 328.1 megabytes, which means the HIWARE use 40% less memory consumption than competitor running the same application. So this also means you don't have to provide, or you don't have to have the higher spec, like maximum spec of this server, which can cost more, and which can pay more for the hard disk. Hardware. So HIWARE bastion server can save, I would say, the cost. I'll say the better word, the cost effective, okay, compared to the other vendors, bastion server or jump server. This is going to be the minimum spec of the HIWARE server and bastion server for 40 concurrent user of application access. Okay. This is going to be the demonstration of the AAM solution. First of all, web auto login and real-time monitoring session. So you access to the application like Amazon, like AWS. it runs the application and types the ID and password automatically. And you can see in a real time. See? To the right side is the real-time margin session. So if the user clicks something and move to the other page, you can see what they're doing in real time. If you click block, you can block. And Azure, it does the same, types ID and password automatically. So that's the auto login. Okay, type the auto. And yes, here. And you can view this in real time as well. And the GCP, it also types a ID and password. Just give me a second. Okay, the GCP and Jenkins. Okay. Okay. It's of course automatic login. See it in the middle here. It cannot launch the EC instance because we block this button through the URL control. You can see the message that this is for the restrict by the policy, and then violation count as one. So if you try one more time, then it will block. Yeah. Yep. Okay. You can see who tried the no, you the user to let them access the device again. Okay. Here, we, it doesn't have to be web because the CS application can be also controlled. And that's a restriction or process control. So it's the Zen Center, which is a CS application here. And we blocked the button called wait. Should have been something that is dangerous. So we block buttons under tool here. I mean, under help, and then we, if you try to play 3 times and then block the session, you no longer access to the application until the admin is released or unlock the user. And you can review the details, the reason why, who access, when, from which, and then the period, and you can which accounts here, the details there. And you have to unlock the user for the user to access the application again. And then you can see the log of the video. If you were one dimension, just one screen, and 2 dimension or 4 dimension divisions. And you just jump to this the process where that's been moved the word types. And then changing the password through the API. So this was the password, and then if you change password, and then you do that, you add the change password on the application for the application, and then it'll change the password, and then it'll go back to you with a new password. And you add it, generate, and do the provision in the server to change the password. Once we type, and you can see the password. Let's do that. Okay, and we can also log everywhere. Okay. This watching here. Okay. See. So here's the that we have. If you have something. Okay. So can you guys hear me? Hello? Okay, hello. Can you hear me? All right. Okay. So we'll take a short break, about 20 minutes, and then we'll come back for the next session. Okay. So we'll take a 20-minute break from, all right, just give me a second. All right, let's say 20 minutes. Sorry. Okay, so it's a 20-minute break. So I'll set up. Now it's 12:15 here. So I'll do, sorry. We'll begin 16 already. So 36 KST. So it's gonna be depends on your country, the timeline, but usually it's about 2 hour difference. So it's gonna be 10:36 usually. So you have to double check the time. So we'll only take a 20-minute break and then we'll come back. Okay. So if you have any question, then you can just stay here and then ask me the question. Okay. All right, now we're on a break. 한국어가 왜 중지됐지?
Sunod na nggak gawa, apa karena ini yang jalan video tadi?
참가자가 왜 이렇게 많아졌니?
네, 그렇습니다. 한 명 더 늘었네?
없는 애가 있니?
뜬금없이 네온TP 안디가 들어갔고요. 네, 계정을 재생하고 있어요.
아니면은 요거를 다 드래그를 못하나?
CC 들어갔고. 아니, 근데 거의 다 잡아서. 그리고 이게 계속 보니까 이게 트링 잡기처럼 연결이 됐어요. 이야.
Aku apa bagian mampu gua belum bah udah pakai asam amino baru apa jam 10.36 going back on the
Okay, Asif, you have a question?
ya sumpah ya nggak apa-apa nggak ada orang masalah di sakit
Hello, Asif, you have a question? All right, guys. All right, welcome back. Is everyone here? I see one person is missing, so
Yeah.
while we're waiting for him, we will I'll take some the questions. So you can type it on the chat box or you can just tell me. Okay, I have one question here. Let me rewrite the question. If the valid credential, for example, okay, is never exposed to the administrator, how those are. Oh, for the initial installation or implementation, we need to know all the detailed information of the servers and then the the keys like SSH keys and things. We need to set initial settings for the first time. And then once we set up the server, like at the target server, and then we'll collect the account. So if it's the account status is locked or it's like not shown, like hidden, then we need to manually register for the initial setting. But other than that, after that, we'll do the provision and then we'll know all the detailed information, and then we could generate the auto change or um, auto change of password, and then changing the information of the password of the accounts through the HIWARE. Okay, vector function. Okay. Mhm. It's not a box like it's not a box like appliance. So we can provide it as a software. So And then we provide it as like a module, like as you so let me share my screen first. Just give me a moment here. Can you see my screen? Can everyone see my screen? If yes, please type yes.
Yes,
If
good.
not, okay. Then here, so each module here, PSM for system, IM for system, is each module here. So if you add the AAM, the PSM for application, then will be another module under IM for AD. Will be here is PSM for application module. So you can see all the access history, and then you can change the password of application accounts through there. So for example, if you had a question on what if we don't have any information? So this is the IAM solution for system. So each target device, Linux server, Windows server, and then this test servers here. So it has an IP here, and then each server have their accounts here. It's normal, it's a ghost. It was created from the server directly. This is a test server. That's why there's so many ghost account, because each of them was attested. And here also, so once you collect, there should be the account status should be normal or locked. So locked means we don't know the password or any information like SSH key. So to unlock this, change it to normal, we need to manually change that for the first time. But after that, you don't have to worry about it. Once it's classified, then you don't have to classify it every time. Okay. Okay, so once you register your target device on here, for example, here, you can batch addition here, or you can add them one by one. So you put the equipment name, IP or DNS, and then IP address, and then you put you manage them in the equipment group here if you have, and you have to specify which server that is in. Windows server and the version, if it's a Linux, and then which is it? Is it the Red Hat or Fedora or Ubuntu or Debian or the version of it? And then once you like to set which protocol that you want to use for this server, and then once you're done, you have to put the protocol, like for example, this I want to use, and then you have to type the port number. If you have the private, like, port number, then you could put something else that you're using in your infra. And to do this here, you either put root account, or if your company is not allowed to use root account, then you have to create like another account that has a root power. Okay, it's not a super admin, but it has the same authority as a root. And you put that as a like root power account here, and then put the password for that. Or if you have SSH key here, you need to select them, and then you put the key here and save. And every time you log in, it generates and checks the SSH key to access. So either you use the password or the SSH key authentication. You have to put on here for the initial setting. Okay. And then you hit save, and then you'll see the server listed on here. This is the register server for in the HIWARE. And then once it's registered, you go IM for AD. And now here, you'll see the list of the servers here. And then you do click and you do the connection test. Okay. Then if it's success, then you collect the ID. You collect the accounts from this server just by hitting collect. And then it will collect and then show under here. So you, for example, okay. The connection test first, and then you collect accounts. Then it will collect the accounts here. All right. Any questions? Or you want to see more detailed demonstration of the function, like which function that you want to see, then I'll show you. Anything? No questions? So feel free to just drop it on the chat box then. Anyone? All right, then I'll just go through the basic, the demonstration, demonstration for, the main functions here. Okay, basically here. First of all, let me stop sharing this. Okay, this is a HIWARE. The settings, and you can view the logs from here. So mostly the admins and their managers are working on this web. And then the actual users, they use this little HIWARE client. Wait. This, and then you choose which HIWARE server that you want to access. And this one. Uh-oh, where's my little HIWARE client? Just give me a moment. Is it hiding behind there or what? All right, just give me a second. Wait, okay, let me stop sharing just for a second because Okay, where's my HIWARE client? Let me pull up. Yes. And it should show up. Yes. Okay. So it's a little. Okay, anyways, so you type admin here. Show you this here. So you can see here. So my screen is too small, so let me move from here to my other screen here. Share. Okay. You want to see my screen? Yes. I'll say yes. Okay, there's. So you can see access permissions setting. So this HIW and this user is given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 servers. So you can give them there by user. So this admin 101. Only 2 server is given to this admin 101 user. So let's check what. Oops. 1 second. So timeout, and it takes time to log in, and then time that I said is too short. Not. So as you can see, only 2 servers are given. So if you generate it's just not clear, so if I give it the oh, is it? Okay, so thank you for telling me. So can you let me check my mic first. Hello? 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 Hello?
Iya, ngomong
Is it
sama
better?
siapa?
Or is this better? This one better?
Yes, it's better now.
Okay,
We lose some time.
because I was using different mic, but
Okay.
so if this is better, then I'll use this. All right. So login as here is the accounts that I collected from the server. So I can just use any, but I'll just use what else? Just root. Just a test server, so doesn't care if I use root or not. But if it's a real environment, then you should be careful using root. And this is a come on. Okay. This is a real the monitoring session, and this is the actual session here. It takes time because the VM that I put it on is like it's not higher spec. So it might take some time to do the real-time monitoring. So once when you install HIWARE or the DB or whatever that infra that you're in, you have to make sure the network and then the hardware spec should be enough for this. Okay. Okay, now it's come. And then cd dot I said capitalized. Okay. So anything I typed on here will be monitored by admin here. And if um, admin try to block and gives a message like all devices or just this or just this session, you click and then block retention like how long until when you want to this period should be. And then if you want to set up the retention, you just say, all right, just test. And then the session is terminated. And try to log in again. Could try, but not able to access. Okay. Unless you are released. Cannot, until you are released, you cannot access. And see here, you'll see the details. Okay, group of the server. Okay, yes, the Linux, and then the equipment name, and then the IP of the server, and then administrator. Here, the IP, and then the period, and then which protocol they use, and then which system ID, and then it was success, and then the commands that I typed here. And you can play the log. It takes time because of my VM. You can jump. Usually you can jump and then you can also search because of my VM is not, see. I think I use this too small. Maybe I should use a better, spec of that. What I say, the VM. Okay. I'll just use it in incognito mode just in case. Okay, so wait. I'll show you and the other there's test server here. I have several test servers. Let's code this one out. Wait. Okay. So this one's better. This is faster. Okay. If you go access history here, you can view the history of access by period or by user or by device or protocol or commands. So you can search user. Okay. Oh, no. History. Just give me a second. Okay, okay. Okay. On the June 1st, you can do by period or by user. I think only one user was accessed in that period, so only show one here. So, but if you have many users that has access through HIWARE, and it can show the list of the user and then which devices that each user access to. Okay, and then the device and then protocol. Maybe I think it should be this. Oh, they use two protocols. So this and this. Okay, so SSH, through the SSH protocol, you access, okay, this server here. Okay, let me see. Let's see. By period, let's see the top one here. Okay, the same. Okay, it was blocked. Okay, because you can jump here. Okay, the type to telnet, that's why it's prohibited. And then if I search telnet, and then you get jumped where this telnet was typed. Okay. And you can view like this, the log video and prohibited commands. Okay, let's go back to the other one here. Since I set the prohibited commands, MySQL, SSH, and RM, if I type one of them in here, it will get blocked. Oh. Release the user because it was just a test. Then now I can access. Okay. But if I type like CD, LL, like just cat, yeah, it works. But if I say RM, okay, and other RM one more time, and then if I take SSH, oh, I got blocked. Let's to generate one more, and I got blocked. See, I see the pop-up messages. And try to log in. Cannot. If I see here, you can see the details here, who accessed when and from IP, and then the destination IP, and then here, this was okay, and this was prohibited commands. RM SSH, that's why it was blocked. And you can type RM, and you can jump to this time to see the video. If I say SSH, like that. Okay. Okay, so okay, questions. So so the session is still going on. No, the session is cut off or that user, but booty is still on, not automatically closed terminated. What do you mean it's not terminated? Can you be more specific? If we click blocked or get blocked, and then the booty will be automatically turned off. Just don't know what specifically that you're meaning. It is automatically closed. You want to see again? You still doubt, or could you please retest again? So, okay.
저기 매니저님, 저 한국말로 좀 질문 좀 해도 될까요?
네, 잠시만요.
아,
이거 하나만 하고 그다음에 제가 요청 받아도 될까요?
네.
네, 알겠습니다. So if you generate here and then real-time session here, if you click oh, here, and then if you click block, I don't do anything. Where's Putty? It's gone. What do you mean by it's not automatically closed? So it's proven now? Is it proven? Ilham, can you answer me? Is it proven? 네, 매니저님 말씀해 주시면 될 것 같습니다.
네네네. 제가 그냥 메일로 문의 드리는 게 나을 것 같아가지고. 네, 메일로 문의 드리겠습니다. 그냥.
아, 네,
네.
알겠습니다. 그럼 메일로
네,
보내주시면
네,
저희가 답변
네,
드리겠습니다.
네.
예, 감사합니다. Okay, any other questions? Okay, if you don't have any, I'll show you the windows. Okay, sure. It's prohibited. Oh, okay. Released. And now we're okay to, all right. To the windows, yes. Windows, same thing. You can view the session in real time. Oh. This is not because of HIWARE, this is because my VM is just slow. So it'll be still recording, but so it loads late. And while we're waiting, can we I can take another, the questions. Any questions? Okay. Test. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's gonna be just late. It's the same mechanism. So if you take block and then it'll just block and then terminate the session. You want me to show that? Okay. All right, and then it's done. And the access history, oh, not access history. Dangerous behavior, block policy violation. And you can see the windows. Oh, it says Windows, administrator, and then I use the administrator accounts and then during this period, and then the protocol is WinTerm 339. And then the log. Oh. You can jump to the like where the mouse movement was and then where the keyboard was typed that way here. Any question? Please feel free to drop it on the chat box. Nope. Okay. Then I'll jump to this here. So access permission can be given by the role group of users or by individual user. So if I add or another server here, which is IP is 2.5 and 8.4. And then no restriction on the protocol means they can use any protocol, and no ID restriction means like any ID can be used. If I click this or this, then you can use any protocol, but you have to access with TestGen. It only shows this account. Okay. If I do this, it'll show all the accounts here. You can use any protocol. For example, okay, I just add here and then refresh, and then I'll have 3 servers to access. See, now it's 2.4 is here. Okay, and then as you can see, test June is here, and then all the accounts here. But if I just click just test June, and then it'll automatically just use only test June to access. So if I take 8.4 out, where's IP? Equipment IP. If I this out, this access permission out, and once I log in again, I only see 2 servers to access. And then if the newcomers come in and then you give them only given servers here like this, then he will don't know how many servers in your company. Okay? It secures that. And then here's a dangerous command template that you can add or customize yourself. For myself, I put MySQL SSH/rm as a dangerous command. That's why once I typed these three commands, it'll block. So what about the other ones? It's different. But why? How come I typed cat but still work? Because I didn't put this template on this user. So you can apply command restriction by group of user or individual user itself. So I only applied one template. Okay. So if I add another template like this cat, then it'll block the cat. Okay. Prohibited commands. Okay. So it depends on which template that you want to add. Okay. All right. Any question? Oh, by the way, can you guys hear me well? Because I heard some people saying that like they cannot hear me well. So let me know if you cannot hear me well. Just type it on the chat box like I cannot hear or like I need to speak out or something. Okay? Everyone clear? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. And let me go to the IAM solution. And then after I go with the IAM solution, I'll go to the DB. So I already told you all the list of the counts depends on the here. And then if you put the batch account, for example, you want to change, you can apply immediately or you can reserve for later. Okay, as I add account or modify account or delete account, you can do multiple tests just by one here, one account here. For the Linux, if I try to add or modify, change password, or change UID or group or delete, then you can just select, for example, okay. If I modify password, select everyone here, and then do the inspection and then hit save. It will automatically change the password for me. Okay. But since this is not the test server that I only use, so I cannot just hit yes and then change all the password. So this is how it works. And then once I hit yes, and then it'll turn here as a provisioning task, and it'll show you this password change for the worker one. Okay. All right. That's how it works. And then you can also set all the different policy on here. But I'm not going to tell you detail on the policy because on the afternoon session, the Nigel will be going over all the policy templates here. So I'll just showing you like here's the templates that you can apply, okay? For the ID and the number of ID, length of ID, and then with alphabet or just with numbers and special characters, and then use period, and then auto change of password, yes or no. So yeah, we'll go over this in details on the afternoon session, okay? And here for the PSM for DB. So as you can see, here's a system tree view. This is a favorite and database tree view. And here's the application tree view. I don't have any apps, so here you are. So for the DB, we cannot just double click and access. So how we access DB is we need a DB tool. So I use dbeaver, which is I'm familiar with. Okay. I don't know, is it my PC problem or this DB tool always take long to, Okay. Right. Okay. All right, here. So once it's connected, here, this is the DB that I added. And oh, now if it's connected, then it says a blue dot here. Okay. And let me check. All right, and then show the tables. Okay. Then the table here. So this is the execution time. But if I set the execution time for 15 seconds, then if it goes over 15 now, then it will not return the data. But I didn't set up that way, so it will come, but it takes time. I think it's the matter of the VM that I put my DB and my HIWARE on. It has a lot of the information to get it, or what? Why does it take so long? It's still running. Huh. Just cancel. Why does it take so long? Yep, I canceled it. Just to run the show tables. Just to show the table takes this long. Okay, let me see. Okay, discover. Okay, the DB that I set up on the VM is takes too long. So I'll come back with this later. I just wanted to show you the DB has a similar concept. But the difference is we don't have a real-time monitoring session, but we do have real-time session control. So you get one of these here. So if we typed any, the query, execute any query, it will list it up here in real time. Okay. Well, let's say I use HIDB and it takes 1 or 2 seconds, but yep, use HIDB. So it's a real time. Okay. Same thing. So we block, then we block the session. Okay. And then dangerous history, and then block policy violation. If you type if you violate, this one is a size limitation because I put 1 megabyte as a minimum, the size, maximum size.
So, and this one goes over 1 MB. That's why it was, blocked. Okay. And I believe this one was the same thing. Yep. Okay. But I want to show you data masking, but doesn't read my table here. Oh, here you go. Where's my table? You can see all the, actual the data values here. But if I applied, sorry, I clicked the wrong one. Here, access permission setting. And apply the data masking restriction. And there's a template I already made up here for the data masking restriction. Under this table here, and the column this, data mask all data. And then I will apply this to this user, admin11, this guy, and save. And then we'll apply and then read the same data here. See, you can see the data mesh on the columns that I selected. Otherwise, it shows the real data, real values. But the ones that I selected, the columns that I selected was that I put it here is all data masked. Okay. If I take this back, and then to read data, and it'll show the actual data here. See? Any question on this? Okay. Let me show you the size limitation. This one is less than 1 MB. I already calculated this one is a 0.1 MB of data. But if I read 3 times of this, goes over, it's like 1.7 something. Or go over 1 MB anyways. Okay. Then if I read this data, then when it hits 1 MB, it gives up messages that it goes over 1 MB, and then we'll now return data. See, cannot try to read the data, but cannot because I'm blocked. Okay, and you don't see the blue dot here, which means it's disconnected. And then you have to go, where is it? Under dangerous behavior. All the way to the right. And you'll see the block policy violation. See them, and then you can see the details. And you can see here, DB tool. And then I used the root of the MariaDB, and then the HIWARE user was admin11. And here is the query that I executed. And this one goes 1 MB. It hits 1.14 MB. That's why it stopped and then block and then doesn't return the data. I have to release this user. Okay. Then once I am come back here, and you'll see the blue dots. Oh, here, yes. Which means it's connected and can read the data again. All right. Any questions? Any question on this? All right, if not, then I'll go to the AAM solution. Just give me 1 second. All right, just give me here. Oh, not me. Okay, the 192. Wait, just give me 1 second. Let me check the IP of the. Okay, sorry. Okay, here. Oh, sorry. What was this one? Okay, so this is the one I installed on the AWS. This is for the PSM for application, not access history. Okay, by period. Okay, I'll just choose one of them here. View it and then see access. And then this is all. Okay. Let me see the log play. Okay. Just log in. That's it. This was just a login test. That's why it doesn't have other, activities or process here. It's one division here. I can jump. Yep. Any question? No one? No one has a question on this function? To access this one here, you also need a HIWARE client. But this one's a different server, so I need to choose the different HIWARE server. Okay, this is for the AAM. I need to choose different HIWARE server because all these three has a different HIWARE server. Okay. Let's see which application access permission I have for this admin account. I given them by user or by role. Okay, user. Here. This HIWARE user, like HIW user here, HIW user here has a 12 permission, but why is it 6? Because it might have a duplicate the application, but have a different restriction. See, this one and this one are the same thing, but this one has no restriction, so it can use any accounts. But if I use this and admin, so it overwrites. So if I choose restriction, no restriction, these two is useless because I give like all permission on the account on this web. So this is useless, okay? But if I take this one out, then to access this HIWARE web, it can only use admin or Jisoo. Okay, let's see for the HIWARE web. It only have 2 IDs. So if I take these 2 out, for example, then once I try to access web, I don't see any. Oh, wait. Someone give me the full permission on this. Enter access. Yes, they give me full permission on this. That's why it didn't work. But if I take out the full permission, then it will see only the admin if I go on this because I take out the Jisoo out. Okay. Then if I access through HIWARE client, okay. It will automatically type it for me. Okay. This is the web. Okay. All right. And then I'll see the real-time session. Oh, wait. Oh. Sorry, why is it? Oh. Did I log into different one? Wait. Just give me 1 second. Log into the, oh, sorry, not SQL. Let me log into the Todd. Oh, okay. One is still being processed. Okay. Okay, it's automatically logging into the Todd for me. It's reading it. It's coming. And then it'll automatically type the ID and password for me. Okay, it gives me the frog sound. Okay, and let me see this session in real time. It doesn't read. Just give me a second. Is my engine's not turned on or what? Session is not. Okay, I'll come back with this later because I think I haven't used this server a lot, so maybe the modules that the engine service engine that I didn't turn on properly. So usually in the real environment we don't turn down, but okay. So I'll come back with after the break, and then I'll show you again. Okay, let's turn this tot down and then I'll come back again. Okay, just give me 1 second. Let me just double check. Okay, everything's down. Okay. For now, okay. Let me stop sharing. So do you have any question?
Recording stopped.
Do you have any questions? If no, then we'll go with the lunch break and then we'll come back in let's say 1.5 hour. Okay, so now it's 11:45, 44 actually. So I'll just assume it's a 45. And then I'll come back within another minute. Lunch break. And then I'll see you guys back and wait. 3:06 p.m. in Korea time. So 1:06 in your time. Okay, just give me 1 second. Okay. Can you see my screen? I put the timeline there. So 1:06 at your time. All right, I'll see you guys later and then enjoy your lunch. And then if you have question, please leave it on the chat box or you can ask me now. I can stay here until I answer your question. Looks like everyone's going for the lunch. So if you don't have any question, then I'll also go for lunch and come back. Does anyone? Okay, looks like no one has a question. There's just one run for the lunch, I think. All right, thank you, and I'll see you guys soon. All right, enjoy your lunch.
네, 고생하셨습니다.
네, 고생하셨습니다. 이따가 다시 뵙겠습니다.